If the power were to go out for a few days, if the grid were to go down for quite a long time, and you find yourself in need of preparing food for your family, do you have a way to do that safely indoors? Because there may be a time when your stove and your kitchen won't work, and for one reason or another, such as rain, or you have security concerns. Or some other reason. Are you prepared to be able to cook safely indoors when the time comes that you can't use your regular indoor stove? Well, today I got a solution for you. So this is what we're going to do today. We're going to use the Sterno Stove. We're not going to use the regular Sterno fuels in a canister. Instead, today we're going to use the alcohol stove. This is what we're going to fix. Pancakes from a bottle. Put the water in, shake it up, and then put it on the hot plate or griddle. We are going to use my favorite, maple syrup, to put on the pancakes. And I don't have it down here yet, but also we're going to put some cinnamon on it. We're also going to fix some coffee to have with pancakes. And this is a French press, and I'll show you some of the details about that when the time comes. Now, the way I'm going to use this is a backpack stove for hiking, camping, and so forth. It's an alcohol stove. Goes in there, you set your pot or your whatever it is you're going to fix on that, but today we're going to turn that upside down and put the alcohol stove a little bit closer to what we're going to be using to cook in. So a couple things about the Sterno Stove. That's about a 5-inch diameter skillet. It would work fine on the Sterno Stove. This one's a little bit bigger, maybe a 7-inch, I'm not sure exactly. That's the one we're going to use today for making the pancakes. If you were going to if you needed to fix enough food for your family, if your family's large enough that you need something this size, it will work, but it won't work real well because the heat kind of concentrates roughly in an area about the size of that skillet rather than the whole thing that large. So if you need to cook for a large number of people, the Sterno Stove probably isn't going to be your best option. If that were to be the case, you might want to think about or consider a butane stove, which has an actual stove burner size burner, and you can cook anything you could cook on this stove. You could cook on the butane burner as well. But for today, we're using Sterno Stove. We're going to go ahead. We're going to put about 1.5 ounces of the fuel into the stove. And if we burn the fuel up before we get finished, we'll put more fuel in it. I'm going to go ahead and make some coffee. This is the French press. As of yet, I'm not trying to sell it to you, I'm just letting you know that it exists. Most of you probably are well aware of that. But anyway, put your water in, which I'm getting ready to do. Heat it on the stove, and I'm going to heat it where it starts getting bubbles in it, but not to a rolling boil. Then I'm going to put the coffee in, stir it up a little bit, let it sit for about 5, 6, 7 minutes. Then I will press the grounds out of it and I will have coffee. All right, I'm back. I put 2 cups or 16 ounces of water in here. All right, we're going to let the water heat. And while the water's heating, I'm going to mix our pancake batter. All right, I got roughly 3/4 of a cup of water. I'm not going to pour it all in at the same time because I can always pour more water in, but I can't pour it back out once it gets in, right? Yes, I poured water on the floor. And it does need a little more. So a little more it got. Okay, we'll try that in a few minutes. For now, we gotta let the coffee, or first we gotta let the water heat, then make our coffee, then we'll put the skillet on. And while we're waiting, I'm going to be using ghee as cooking oil. Ghee, of course, is clarified butter, or a type of clarified butter, and it will store indefinitely, almost forever. So if you're looking for a long-term SHTF type of cooking oil, this should be, or could be, your leading candidate. I'll be back after the coffee's done. You guys can't see it, but the water is starting to get the bubbles coming up, but not a rolling boil. So I'm going to put the coffee in, let it sit for a few minutes, and then we'll get on with the pancakes. 16 ounces of water, 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, about 2.5, give or take. Now we'll put that aside, let it sit for about 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. We'll let it sit there while we deal with the pancakes, then we'll have coffee with the pancakes. Ghee can have a strong taste, might even be one you have to acquire, like good wine. Well, these will be fairly small pancakes because the skillet's not too big. There's one. Number 2. And it's also time to do the pressing with the French press, which is just a matter of putting that in and pressing down. I suppose that's why it's called the French press. It is a bit stronger than the would be from a coffee maker, and I might have let this one go too long. Nope. Looks pretty good. All right, pancake 2. And for what we're doing today, we're going to call that good. We're going to go ahead and fix the pancakes up. All right, for a little bit of butter flavor. Not just butter flavor, it's powdered butter, real powdered butter. And of course, you can get canned butter. You can also reconstitute this, which I meant to do, but I failed to do so for this video. But you can make a stick of butter out of this, out of powdered butter, spread it out very similarly to real butter. You can also can your own butter and have it available. But today was a quick meal or a quick food. Maple syrup, which I meant to heat, but I've already put the stove away and I forgot about that. So we won't have hot maple syrup, but it would have been easy to have done. And a little bit of cinnamon. How is it? Let's find out. It's very good. By the way, pancakes are fluffy and they're very good. There is a Sterno stove used with alcohol fuel to make pancakes from a bottle. Granted, this wasn't a whole meal, but you could make more pancakes. You could also add different things to your meal. You could make some use powdered eggs, make scrambled eggs with your pancakes, would be really good. Perhaps we'll do that in another video. So until we see you again, keep on prepping